Hey everyone, Brian from Variable Traders here, Wednesday, April 10th. Let's talk about things that have been going on for the first part of the week here. We've got Wednesday in the books and pretty flat day on the Dow. Closed pretty close to where previous day closed. NASDAQ strong today. S&Ps are up a bit today. Market internals seem to be improving a little bit. Got a little bit more stocks over their 200-day moving average than we did, say, a week or so ago, which was closer to 50-50. So yeah, we've got some interesting things going on right now. Obviously, the Feds came out with some statement today. Fed officials were saying most of them were feeling that they didn't see any need for interest rate hikes this year. So again, just reaffirming that. I think that's a lot of people are assuming that there aren't going to be any more hikes this year. We've got the China trade deal still hanging out there. We've got threats of tariffs in the EU. And we've got earnings season just coming up upon us. We've got JP Morgan, Wells Fargo applying, they're coming out with earnings on Friday. And then next week we get into Goldman Sachs, Citi, and some techs like Netflix. So the earnings season is almost upon us. So, it could be the people are just sort of sitting on their hands next couple of days, just see what comes, because there is some concern in the market about an earnings recession, and so they'll be very interested to hear when they come out with their earnings and what the forward guidance is as well. So let's just take a look at the daily. We can see technology was a good day today for them. Overall, we got basic materials, consumer goods, probably some good news out of China regarding their economy and driving up basic material prices. Consumer goods and services are kind of more of a defensive thing. Let's take a look at what we got for our charts. This is the 10-year. You can see it's kind of turning back down again with the RSI. We're down just under 250 again on the 10-year yield. So maybe interest rates. Again, this was maybe on some interest rate news with the Fed officials not expecting any more rate hikes this year. On the Dow, we've had a couple down days, and now we've had a bit of a maybe finding a bottom here. You can kind of see we're just right at a level of support where we gapped up from. And again, this coincides where we had a double top. So this could be an interesting area. It may just chop in this area for a while until we get some resolution on earnings as we move forward in the weeks ahead. Not going to look at the weeklies too much here because we're only halfway through the week. And the small caps, Russells came ripping back today, and they're right back at an area of resistance. You can see RSI is turning up, so we'll be watching TNA and TZA in the morning to see how that plays out. Those are ETFs, 3-time ETFs. QQQs still in that what looks to be an uptrend. We're still moving forward here. And you can see here on the weekly, we're just right back up at that area where we had some significant resistance. So again, earnings is going to be important to see which direction, if the Qs can follow through, or if they're going to pull back here. And again, the SPY, same thing, we're right near the top. None of the volumes were particularly spectacular today. They're all pretty average. SPX weekly, we'll skip over that because we haven't got the weekend yet. And the dollar sank obviously on the Fed announcement, or the Fed release of minutes here. So lower interest rates or steady interest rates, no interest rate hikes, and the dollar weakens. And the VIX came off quite a bit today too, which is interesting. So we're right down here at this area of support, and again, the direction of the VIX is probably going to depend a lot on what we've got coming up in the earnings season. So KO, let's take a look at some of our actives and the stuff got right now that I still have a position in. Coke, I was back in here at 44.80, and I've just been holding on to it, hold it on through this pullback, and now this seems to be having a challenge getting through 47. It was down today on an up day. I'm just hanging on to that. That's more like a core position for me. I think if it drops below 46 here, I'll probably take a look at taking it off. But I'm just going to hang on to that. Nugget I bailed on today. This is no longer active. I have in my swing portfolio. Got in here 1940. It looked nice and strong, ripped higher or gapped up higher. But then it really started to sell off, particularly after those Fed announcements. And I find that, I've said this before, gold always seems to move after a Fed announcement, one way or another. So, when the minutes came out and it started to move, I thought, this was probably the right time to bail on this, because it was looking like it was heading lower, and it did head lower from where I bailed on it. So I got out at 2050. I was in at 1940, so I'm not completely unhappy with that trade. I was hoping to get it up to sort of mid 21s, but as soon as the Fed came out with those those minutes, that was it. So I haven't flipped my position yet. I already flipped it once, but I'm just going to see how things pan out tomorrow here. TGTX, somebody asked me in the room if I was still in this, because I had taken a partial. I haven't talked about it for a while. So it was in at 740, took some off at 850 here, and I've just been hanging on to it, just seeing that it's been holding this 8 level. So if it loses that, I'll bail on the small position that I have left on it. UWT, we're still in a uptrend here. I'm still hanging on to that. I took a little more off today. Took some off yesterday, 2050. Took a little more off today at 2160. So still looking pretty strong. I'm still targeting this 25 level, just under this moving average. We'll see if it can get there. But the fundamentals for oil still seem to be fairly good here. And XLU, I'm not too, it hasn't really done very well. I got in, I took some profits, and now it's just hanging around this range. I may just bail on it, since it seems to be just consolidating and stalling out here. Finally, let's take a look at what we got on watch here. I'm watching Aurora ACB. It kind of looks like it's consolidating here. If it can break out of this 930 area, I might be looking at a move to 10, so stop out at 9. And then maybe get out at over 10. So I'm just keeping an eye on that right now. It may be range bound, so I'm just, like I said, I'm not gonna make a move on it unless it punches through there. EM, just keeping an eye on too. I wouldn't mind getting this on a pullback, but it's already run quite a bit and it kind of broke out. So I'm just going to be watching that, see if we can get it on a pullback at some point. SMH, again, I'm just watching. We'll see what happens with earnings and how the semiconductor space looks as we start getting into some earnings season numbers here. And TNA, TZA, these are the ETFs you can play. The small cap, which I was talking about earlier, IWM, which was strong today, so we'll be watching to see if we get a reversal on that, or if TNA and the small caps go higher. TZA is going up if the IWM drops. So you can see here we're right back down to a level of support on TZA, and see if it, like I said, see if it bounces there, or if we get a continuation lower, in which case TNA will be the way to play it. And natural gas, just looking for a play on natural gas. Really, we're just not going anywhere right now. We're just sort of stuck. This week has been pretty much range bound. So we get an inventory tomorrow morning. Hour into the trading session, we'll get the natural gas inventory numbers, and we'll see if that gives us any kind of impetus to move one way or another. So that's it, everyone. If you're interested in swing trading, haven't checked out my book already, it is on Amazon, How to Swing Trade by Brian Pezim. Otherwise, I hope everyone had a good day today, and we'll be in the room tomorrow morning, day trading room, Bearable Traders. Norm and Carlos will also be doing the pre-market show live on the YouTube channel as well. So we'll see everyone in the morning. Good night, everyone.